Hey guys, Mike here, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to beat chapter 17 without anyone dying. So this is the chapter where you have to have beat 6 bosses. I'm going to mainly focus on the hard part. And this is for maddening, by the way, but you can also apply these strategies to hard as well, but this is for maddening mostly. And all right, so how you do it is okay. I'm not gonna really talk about Gris. Gris is pretty easy to beat. Gris and the first worm are pretty easy to beat because they are, they just come at you like he just warp Ragnarok's right to you, so and he just kills him, pretty much kills himself. He suicides himself when you kill him. So that's not that hard. Um, the worm is also not that hard to kill as long as you put Erica on someone with high attack power. I put her on Panette, and I was able to kill him. You can kill that worm by like using the engage skill for Erica on the worm, and then following up with someone to attack. You could do that same skill, dance that person that has Erica again, and then kill that worm with a follow up attack with a second attack on the same turn. The worms are not that hard. All right. The next phase of the fight is fighting Marnie and Mavier. Those two, once you aggro one of them, they both come together. The main thing, I think that's pretty manageable. You just use magic on Marnie, and then you uh, make sure to try to kill her in one turn because Mavier is going to be one turn behind. And then also make sure when you kill Mavier, you just don't aggro this worm right here. It's the second corrupted worm here. Just make sure you don't aggro him because once you do that, you're going to aggro every single other unit that's left on the map. They're all going to start rushing towards you. So you want to make sure you kill Mavier without aggroing this worm. Now that this is the programming for maddening. Maybe there's similar for. It's probably going to be easier for hard, but that's how it is for maddening. Okay. And so just for remember for Marnie and Mavier, just use magic on Marnie. Do your basics, do your backup attacks. Make sure you load up your backup attacks. Just standard tactics for single bosses. Same thing for Mavier. Mavier, just do backup attacks. Another strategy you can do too is load up your backup units next to them, and then you can start triggering attacks with like a longbow or a Thoron or El Thunder. You know the three range moves. That way you won't get attacked on your end, and then you can just trigger those chain attacks over and over and over, and that damage really adds up. So, for example, I used Etty with her longbow. Like, even though she didn't do any damage on Mavier because he has too much defense, the chain attacks are still fixed at fixed amount and still deal damage. So that's how you can trigger chain attacks without by being safe at the same time. And so like Etty, I would use the longbow, and Ivy, I would use like a El Thunder or something like that. If you have two El Thunder tomes, even better. You can have another trigger of a string of chain attacks. Okay, after you kill those two, then you can also use your engages as you see fit. Um, you can use all for one with Lucina. That's a great one as well. The main thing is to just not aggro this worm up here, right? Okay, so after you kill Mavier, refill all your engages. Like take your time. I actually tested. I waited for like 7 turns. They will not come. They're not really on a timer here, so they only will all come once you start aggroing that worm. So make sure you fill up all your engages, and what you're gonna do is so you have to kill this worm fast. So let's see how I did it here. Um, yeah, so I was just filling my engages. Let's see. Okay, so I aggroed the worm. Put someone in space here to aggro the worm. The worm actually does not have that skill that decreases your engage meter. This particular worm. So this worm is you can think of it as it's a little weaker. So he's actually pretty easy to deal with. Now to deal with the worm, you can just do the same strategy you do with the first worm. Try to kill it as fast as possible. Like so, I use Erica's skill, and then I just since I put Erica on Panette, Panette is a backup unit, so you can just trigger like a 3 range attack from someone who's safe, a safe distance away, and the backup attack should kill. Two other skills that are really nice. You have to get them in the ring chamber. Are Lucina's skill, so you have to level her bond to level 5, and then you can get. I think it's called dual assist. That will allow units that are in movement range of the enemy. If they can move in range, there's a percentage chance that they will proc a 35% chance they will proc a follow-up attack. So you can get chain attacks that way as well. And so, for example, like with Panette, I got his HP down to like 3, and all I really needed was one chain attack. So I just kind of just shot a longbow with Eti from far away. It didn't do any damage, but the chain attack was able to kill the worm. All right. So once you do that, the 3 horses are going to come. So let's see what I did here. So you have to kind of hole up, right? But your instinct to hole up is to actually just line up, right, with your 3 strong units. Like for here, I used Ike. I think I got Panette here, and then I put Lear with Lucina, and I used Bonded Shield to protect, get that 90% proc on guarding against any attacks. The issue is that Zephia has she has 12 move. So she's going to be on the here on the next turn right after the worm. That's why you got to kill the worm in like 1 turn. Another issue too is she has override too from Sigurd. So like when I put my units in a line here, I won't show it, but like she came right over here on this spot here, and she just overdrive straight through, and I think she killed Alir. So one thing you want to do is for that unit, you put here on this tile, which is 2 tiles away from this windmill on the top side. Just make sure they can survive. I mean, she might do something. If she does override, that's fine. Just make sure like there's space so she doesn't override all the way through your units. The thing you want to do is just make sure this unit survives. And so I have Ike on Diamant here and they have like 28 defense right now. And I think I was loading a Great Ether for some reason. It didn't really do much after, but so she will come here. Maybe she'll override through your unit, and then she has canter, so she'll canter 2 away. So she actually cantered here on this fire, I believe. We can see if that happened. To fast forward a little bit, see what she did. I actually froze this. Let's see. I use a few divine pulses. Yeah. Okay. So she's over here now. Right. Okay. So like this was Ike. So he's still here. She must have attacked or something and cantered here to this spot here. And so now that she's here, we can all just dogpile on her, basically. You're just baiting her with 1 strong unit that can survive, and then just dogpile on her here. And it's pretty standard, to be honest. It's not actually that complicated to kill her. You just do, uh, your standard boss strategies. You can do backups. I would try to save your engages if you can. Don't you want to save your engages for the last 2 bosses coming in. But it's just 2 HP bars. You deal with it however you want to deal with it with standard single target boss techniques. Granted, you have to kind of be aware of these horses here that are harassing you. But the main thing is to just get her in your vicinity so you can start dogpiling on her like this. So this is kind of a good layout setup right now, right? Because there's not much units and she's all alone by herself. When you kill her first overbar, she enrages and she gets another ability, but it's kind of irrelevant if you can kill her on that player phase. I forget what it was. She gets her override back, her override ability back, I believe, and there's one other skill she gets, but it's kind of irrelevant, and I can't quite remember. So just once she's here, kill her on the first turn by dogpiling on her. All right, and try to save your engages. Now the next part, this is when it gets much harder. It's already hard enough in my opinion, but this is when it gets even harder. Okay, so now let's fast forward a little bit. Here, yeah, I did like a Lear I did an all for one here, and I helped with Diamond, and just everyone was dogpiling on her. So yeah, that's a good way to kill her, I think. Um, right here. Okay, so after you get rid of her, you kind of have these knights to deal with, but now you have Vale and Hyacinth following close behind. They're actually coming together. It's really hard to separate them, but you want to separate them. So let's just fast forward here a little bit. Um, and you have all these other units coming, enemy units coming with them. So how you can do this a couple of ways. How I what I did, and this kind of works, is just load up on free staffs. Make sure you bring 2 free staffs with you to this fight, and you can just keep freezing them over and over. Now, I you want to use the unit with the highest magic to cast the freeze because it's not guaranteed to actually freeze them. Um, like for me, I used Ivy. Ivy would freeze because she has the highest magic on my team, and even with Ivy, it was a 66% chance of hitting. The thing is, though, you don't. You can actually just freeze one of them. I actually suggest you kill Vale first. I think Vale is actually easier to kill than Hyacinth, whatever his name is. Um, right. So what you can do is freeze them to delay them. That's one way to do it. And the thing is, you actually want to kill all of their goon units, their fodder units. You want to get them off the map because they're just going to get in the way and stuff. So freezing them to make sure they stay at bay is a good way to do that. And while they come in, you can just take your. You don't want to take sweet old time, but you have time to not just advance forward. You can just hold the line here between these two windmills and just take out these armors and these knights as you see fit. It might actually take a while because there's 2 monks back here that are actually casting physic, which are healing them, which is annoying. But you might get something like this here. Like, okay, I got Vale over here, standing here. Um, and I got Hyacinth here. He's still frozen. Um, let's see if I want to show you something here. All right, so you have to defend, basically. Okay, this last part, you have to, with Vale and Hyacinth, the goal is to defend long enough, right? You're just trying to stall Hyacinth and Vale long enough so that you can get rid of those fodder units so you can clear the path so you can start dogpiling on them, right? And ideally, you want to dogpile them one at a time. So one tool at your disposal is the free staffs. Bring 2 free staffs. I had enough for 6 freeze uses, and I used 5 of them because I missed some casts. Another tool at your disposal that you can use, and this is a more powerful tool in my opinion, is the Corin skill. It's not her. It's a passive skill, but you have to be engaged to use it. And basically, when you attack an enemy with Corin, while whoever has Corin, when they're engaged, it will freeze them for you. So just get someone with a high hit rate that can just tag the enemy, just chip them, and then make sure you're engaged with Corin, and that will freeze them in place. That's effectively a freeze. I forget what it's called. Something Aura. Like it's the purple skill on Corin, right? That's another way you can freeze them, and you can freeze them that way. And then if they're in range for enemy phase, you can use a drawback skill to pull them back away from them. So you can just like hit them and then pull back so they're out of range. Because typically Veil is a 2 range unit, a 1-2 range unit. So that, and you can just keep freezing them for as long as you have engaged turns on that unit that has Corin. That's one way to freeze a unit. And then while they're doing that, while they're being stuck, being frozen, actually the Corn way of freezing the unit is actually more reliable than the stats because, like I said earlier, I only had like a 66% chance of freezing them even with my max magic units. So that was, I find Corn was actually more reliable in freezing. You can freeze both of them at the same time, or you can just freeze one of them to keep them at bay. Remember, the freeze staff only has 6 range, so you actually kind of have to be kind of close, in the action to actually freeze them. So like you can see Hyacinths here, I had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had to freeze from like this square here, right? so that it's still a little, it's not like you can freeze from like super far away. Um, Another thing you can do to stall them is you can use clones from Lin. That's a fantastic way to stall them, because what you can do is try to bait them to use their ultimate attack, which is their engage skill, which is for Hyacinth it's quadruple attack, and for Veil it's Lodestar Rush. You can bait them to attack the clones. The clones only have 1 HP, the Lin clones. And if they waste their engage skill on that, that's really good, because then that means they're not going to use it on your units. That's really good as well. Another thing you can do is put tanky units up in front to take the brunt of the skill, those engaged skills like the quadruple attack and the Lodestar Rush. And then you can put a Lear in the middle and do Bonded Shield with, which is Lucina's, one of Lucina's skills. And you can just keep doing Bonded Shield turn after turn after turn after turn, as long as you have engaged turns up. As long as you're engaged with Lucina, you can, like at this point, if you're bonded, you can actually have, if you're bonded with Lucina, you can actually have 4 turns already with Lucina. So that's 4 turns of Bonded Shield. And you just keep bonded shielding these. What I like to do actually is what I did actually was like all these armors and these cavalry were attacking me, right? And they're stupid. So like I had what's his name up front, Pendreo, and I had Elfire on him, and then I had Ivy here who had free staffs. But then when she would get attacked, she would equip Elfire, and then I had a Lear here. I had someone else here too. I can't remember, but I probably moved them. But a Lear here would use Bonded Shield, and he would protect. He has a 90% chance of protecting all of them, all 3 of them. And then these the peon units will try to attack Pandreo and Ivy, and then they will just counterattack with Elfire at the same time. Alir is protecting them with Bonded Shield, and it's really effective. I got out so much damage on enemy phase that way. You can even kill a lot of their units on enemy phase that way by just having magic and protecting them with Bonded Shield. Bonded Shield is so powerful. It's insanely strong. So that's how you do it. You kind of have to protect your units that way. Another thing you can do too is, depending on the situation, you can use Lin's clones. Oh, I already mentioned that. Use Lin's clones to send out doubles. I tried bonded shielding her clones, her doubles, but I don't think it works, because they just took hit. Like none of them got guarded by Alir's bonded shield. So that's I don't think that works. But the clones are good for taking the brunt of Hyacinth and Veil's ultimate attack, ultimate engage skill attacks. So that's pretty good. Eventually, all of these fodder units will be killed by the rest of your squad, or even by like your magic units who are protected by bonded shield on enemy phase, and they'll take them out, and you'll get something that looks like this here. Oh, you can see like, okay, here. Not quite. Okay, so I took out Veil here. So Veil is actually dead already. Like, she's actually pretty easy to kill, I think. Veil is easier to kill. So you should kill her first. And then I got Hyacinth out here. Actually, I remember the way I killed Veil was actually I had Panette with a hand axe, and he just attacked her and she attacked Panette on enemy phase, and I just hand axed her on enemy phase. And Panette has just so much attack and strength that she's just she's like a crazy powerful unit in my opinion. Anyways, so once you kill Panette, so you're constantly stalling him with freeze, right? You have the tools. You just have to use all the tools at your disposal. So use freeze staffs, use Corrin's ability with the dreadful aura that freezes them when you attack them, and then make sure to pull whoever's attacking Hyacinth that's freezing him out back with a drawback or reposition. Those skills are good for pulling them back. And like I said, with Corrin, you have essentially three free turns of freeze, because you just tag them each turn the engage is active, and you can do that. Now, what you can do to kill Hyacinth is what I did was, I was constantly freezing him every turn to make sure he wouldn't move. And eventually, like literally, I killed all of his peon units, like all the cavalry and all the chi monks. You kind of want to kill the chi monks because they all use physic, which is annoying as well. So, and then eventually you get a situation that looks like this. I might as well just fast forward to the end here. So like he has no more units and he's surrounded and he's still getting frozen. Like I still had freezes, a couple freezes left, but so you just and it should be fairly easy now. You had dog. I had time to take a Lear. He didn't have his engage up, and I wanted to all for one his ass with Lucina. So I literally ran to a puddle on the side over here. Um, you know, grabbed the puddle to recharge my engage skill. And then I was just using drawbacks and repositions to just be a little bit more efficient to move a Lear around. And eventually, like I got him here and then just dogpiled on him with, backup attacks. Eventually I got the kill with all for one right here. So he's just all surrounding him here. Had to rewind a few times to get it right, but you can see like everyone's surrounding here, and then a Lear comes in here with the all for one on Lucina, and then got the kill. Yeah, so just make sure you use your backup attacks. Remember, okay, so these are, as a summary, here are the things to just make sure you utilize. It doesn't go exactly the way you want each time, but as long as you have all the tools in your toolkit, you can always just pull them out when you see fit. And the tools are freeze staffs. Obstruct staffs can they're not really that effective for this map, but always bring obstruct staffs. Obstruct staffs are really good as well. Free staffs, like I said earlier, as much free staffs as you can. Corin with her dreadful aura tag, when she tags opponents while engaged, you can freeze. That's the most reliable way to freeze. Remember, the free staffs have a percentage chance to freeze. Mine was about 66% chance to freeze, which was, it's not perfect and you might waste some uses. So Corin, Bonded Shield with Lucina on a Lear is great for stalling the enemy. Like you can even survive quadruple attack and Lodestar Rush that way. Doubles, call on doubles with Lin is really good as well. You can call on doubles, put them in front, and have Hyacinth and or Veil attack those doubles like idiots and waste their ultimate skill on those 1 HP doubles. It's another fantastic thing that can happen. If they just attack the doubles with their regular attack, there's actually a chance that you can, the doubles will actually dodge the regular attacks. So, and they can even counter attack too, which is funny when they get a kill. Another thing you can do, another tool at your disposal, I didn't really have to use it, but is you can use Dragon Vein with a covert unit, and that will create a 3x3 area around your unit of fog, which it actually slows movement, but it adds 30 avoid that can kind of help. Just making sure your front line either has really strong defense and high HP. Make sure high HP is a must essentially, and they don't get doubled. And or they have really high avoid. So Zelkov is a pretty good candidate. He's maybe not for this map, but like when there's a bush, Zelkov is like the king of dodge tanking there. So that's pretty much it. Just remember those tools: free staffs, Corin, Lin, doubles, repositions, drawbacks. Always use those. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope this video helped. Don't want this to get too long, and hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.